Imagine you're carefully sorting through your most treasured family photos, decades of memories. And then you find faces you absolutely don't recognize, but they have official-looking labels slotted right in.
Yeah, perfectly integrated yet
Yeah.
somehow wrong. It's unsettling.
Exactly. That feeling, that something's fundamentally breached, trust misplaced. That's precisely the kind of situation we're digging into today.
It really is. And it's not just theoretical. We're talking about a real and, frankly, quite startling situation that just unfolded in Bihar, India.
Right. It touches on everything from election integrity, national identity, to how people navigate or sometimes, well, get around complex bureaucratic systems.
It's fascinating stuff. So our mission today is to unpack this. How did people, alleged foreign nationals, end up on India's official voter lists?
Who are they? How did it happen? Why is it such a big deal? And crucially, what does it tell us about protecting democracy in, well, one of the world's largest?
Get ready, because the details are pretty eye-opening. It all kicked off with a discovery during what should have been a routine check of voter lists in Bihar.
In Bhagalpur district specifically, famous for its silk, historic sites.
Right, and election officials there stumbled upon something really unexpected.
Yeah.
Two women, names officially on the rolls, but initial checks suggested they weren't Indian citizens at all.
And we have names, don't we? Imrana Khanam, also known as Imrana Khatun, and Firdousia Khanam, or Firdousia Khatun.
Yes, and the initial reports pinpoint their origin quite specifically, Rangpur village, Kushab district, in Pakistan's Punjab province.
Wow. That level of detail is striking. So you have this process designed for accuracy suddenly throwing up such a massive red flag.
Exactly. It immediately caused a stir, not just locally, but it sent ripples across the country.
So the big question then is how? How did they get onto these lists in the first place?
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. They apparently had key Indian identity documents. We're talking Aadhaar cards.
The unique ID for over 1 billion people.
Precisely. And voter ID cards, the official epics. Documents that usually need pretty strict proof of who you are and where you live.
But there's a catch, a massive one.
A huge one. Their visas. They had expired, and not just recently, a very, very long time ago.
Take Firdousia Khanam. She reportedly arrived in India way back on January 19th, 1956, on a 3-month visa.
1956. Just think about that. That's nearly 70 years ago. India was still a very young republic then.
It's staggering. Most of us lose track of emails from last week.
Exactly. And Imrana Khanam, she came on a 3-year visa, though the exact date isn't specified in the reports we've seen. But the point is, neither renewed their permissions.
So they essentially overstayed, seemingly just melting into local life for decades.
That appears to be the case. And it wasn't just them. There's also mention of Mohammed Aslam, another Pakistani national.
When did he arrive?
She entered on May 24, 2002, with a 2-year visa.
Yeah.
And he, too, apparently managed to get an Aadhaar card.
So this isn't just a one-off anomaly with the two women. It points to maybe a more systemic vulnerability.
It certainly raises that question. How are individuals overstaying for so long able to obtain these core documents, which are often seen as gateways to citizenship benefits?
Okay, so how did this actually come to light now, after all this time?
It surfaced during something called the Special Intensive Revision, or SIR, of the electoral rolls, a really critical process.
Think of the voter list as like the fundamental directory for democracy, right?
Yeah.
Making sure only eligible citizens can vote.
Absolutely. And in a huge state like Bihar, with over 120 million people, keeping that list clean and accurate is just a monumental task.
So the Election Commission of India, the ECI, they launched this SIR. What does that actually involve?
It's pretty intensive. It means door-to-door checks by people called booth-level officers, or BLOs.
They're often local government workers, teachers, people embedded in the community.
That's right. It's like a massive voter census, really. Trying to weed out duplicates, people who've passed away, people who've moved. Standard procedure, but vital.
And it was during this process, around when the draft rules were published on August 1st, 2025, that these red flags popped up in Bhagalpur.
Precisely. And the district magistrate, Nawal Kishore Singh, who's also the district election officer, acted quickly when the BLO report landed on his desk.
What was the immediate official reaction?
Well, DM Singh confirmed the initial findings publicly. He stated, and I'm paraphrasing slightly here, that the inquiry confirmed the two women were Pakistani natives staying illegally.
And they started the process to remove their names right away.
Immediately. Deleting them from the rolls, canceling their voter cards, standard protocol when something like this is confirmed.
But it doesn't stop at the local level, does it?
No, definitely not. A full report is being sent up the chain to the ECI, And the Ministry of Home Affairs, the MHA, is now involved.
Which signals the national security dimension.
Exactly. Especially since there had apparently been alerts from Bihar's own special branch intelligence about foreign nationals overstaying and potentially holding Indian documents in various districts.
So these cases might just be the tip of the iceberg.
It's too early to say for sure, but it definitely highlights these potential systemic gaps. How widespread are they? What are the long-term risks for democratic processes? These are the big questions now.
And all this is happening just as Bihar is gearing up for major state elections later this year in 2025.
Perfect timing, in a way. Bihar's politics are always complex, very dynamic. Coalitions, caste factors, huge rallies. It's always high stakes there.
So this discovery lands right in the middle of that pre-election buzz. And the SIR process itself, this big cleanup effort, that's been controversial too, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Launched back in June 2025, it required all voters to re-verify their details, which is a massive logistical challenge.
And the result was staggering. Something like 6.5 million names dropped from the draft list.
That's the figure reported, 65 lakh names. I mean, that's roughly the population of Denmark. It inevitably caused a huge uproar.
What's the official explanation for such a large number?
The ECI maintains these are legitimate corrections. They break it down. About 2.2 million deceased voters, 700,000 duplicates found, and another 3.6 million who've apparently migrated out of their constituencies.
Okay, sounds plausible on the surface. But the opposition isn't buying it?
Not entirely. Parties in the NDA bloc, like the RJD and Congress, are crying foul. They're alleging bias, particularly in border districts where there are large minority populations.
Leaders like Tejaswi Yadav and Rahul Gandhi have been quite vocal, accusing the ECI of bias, even vote stealing.
Yes, the rhetoric has been sharp. It shows how easily an administrative exercise, even a necessary one, can become intensely politicized in India's electoral landscape.
And this discovery of alleged Pakistani nationals plays into another sensitive issue, borders and infiltration.
It does. And interestingly, just the day before this story broke, Prime Minister Modi was speaking at a rally in Gaya, also in Bihar.
What did he say?
He specifically addressed concerns about infiltration, calling demographic changes in Bihar's border areas alarming. He vowed to expel illegal immigrants, saying they wouldn't be allowed to take jobs from locals.
Strong words. And Bihar does have very long, often porous borders.
Very long. With Nepal, it's over 1,700 kilometers. And it's part of India's long border with Bangladesh, too. So unauthorized entry, driven by economics or other factors, is a persistent concern with real security dimensions.
And finding Pakistani nationals specifically probably touches a raw nerve given the history.
Undoubtedly. The post-partition relationship with Pakistan has always been tense. Visa rules are incredibly strict for Pakistani citizens wanting to visit India. Overstaying usually means facing deportation or even jail time.
Yet life finds ways. Marriages, family ties, economic needs, they complicate things. Like Firdousia arriving in 1956. The human story behind the bureaucratic lines.
Exactly. These individuals, whatever their reasons, represent that complex human reality interacting with strict national rules.
Okay, let's step back and look at the system itself. Indian democracy is huge. The ECI runs it. How are these systems supposed to work to prevent this?
Well, the basics are, you register to vote at 18, you need proof birth certificates, utility bills, that sort of thing.
And Aadhaar, the digital ID.
Aadhaar came later, 2009. It's not technically required for voting, but it's very widely used now for verification, helps link things together. And then the EPIC, the voter ID card, adds that photo ID layer specifically for polling day to prevent impersonation.
So layers of checks. But clearly, glitches happen.
They do. You can have forged documents, maybe corrupt local officials or intermediaries, sometimes just simple administrative oversight, especially in vast rural areas.
The fact that these individuals got Aadhaar cards specifically seems like a major point of failure. How might that happen?
It's hard to say without a full investigation, but possibilities include using fake addresses, maybe exploiting less stringent checks in certain areas, or even involvement of criminal networks specializing in fake IDs.
And the scale of the problem with fake or duplicate IDs is significant.
It seems so. UIDAI, the body managing Aadhaar, deactivated 8.1 million duplicate Aadhaar numbers just in 2023. That's a huge number, indicating it's a nationwide challenge.
And this isn't the first time Bihar or nearby states have had issues with voter lists.
Not at all. Bihar had a major SIR back in 2003 that also uncovered significant anomalies. More recently, in 2024, neighboring Sharkhand was investigating alleged Bangladeshi infiltrators on its lists.
And then there's the whole NRC exercise in Assam.
Right, the National Register of Citizens in Assam in 2019. That excluded 1.9 million people and ignited massive national debates about citizenship, belonging, and documentation,
Followed by the Citizenship Amendment Act, the CAA.
which further complicated the picture, especially regarding pathways to citizenship for migrants from neighboring countries, but notably excluding Muslims. So this issue is deeply woven into India's political and social fabric.
And this current Sara controversy, the one that unearthed the Bhagalpur cases, it even ended up in court.
Yes, it reached the Supreme Court. On August 14th, 2025, the court actually ordered the ECI to publish the full list of the 6.5 million excluded names, along with the specific reasons for each exclusion by August 19th.
Why the court intervention?
It came after petitions from civil society groups like the Association for Democratic Reforms, ADR. They were worried the whole process was too rushed.
The concern being that genuine voters, especially poorer people or internal migrants who move for work, might be unfairly kicked off the list.
That was the core argument. Potential disenfranchisement of legitimate citizens due to procedural haste or error.
And politically, how are the different sides framing this?
Well, the ruling NDA coalition defends the SIR as essential housekeeping, cleaning up the rolls. Some BJP leaders have even challenged opposition-led states to dissolve their own assemblies if they're so worried, hinting the protests are just cover for protecting infiltrators.
And the opposition?
The NDA bloc sees it very differently. They view it as a potential tool for manipulation, a deliberate attempt to suppress votes in certain areas. There have been protests, even threats of boycotting future elections if concerns aren't addressed.
So it's really become a major political battleground. Intense pressure on the ECI.
Absolutely. But amid all this heat, the Chief Election Commissioner, Ganesh Kumar, did come out on August 17th. He assured everyone the list ordered by the court was uploaded quickly, within 56 hours.
Urging faith in the process.
Yes, basically saying they're following procedures and emphasizing that no genuine voter should be left out in the final count.
So let's bring it all together. What are the fundamental stakes here?
At its core, it's about the integrity of the election. You need a clean, accurate voter list for any semblance of fair play.
And in a place like Bihar, with its history, you mentioned the Jungle Raj era in the 90s.
Yes, a period often associated with lawlessness, political violence, and things like booth capturing, literally taking over polling stations. So public trust in the electoral process there can be quite fragile. Any hint of irregularity gets amplified.
Beyond the democratic implications, what else?
Well, there are potential economic strains. Bihar already has a very low per capita income, around 50,000 rupees annually. Large-scale illegal entry could pressure resources. And of course, the national security angle is always present, even though reports suggest no espionage links were found in this specific case involving the women.
Is there a positive side to this? Does exposing these flaws lead anywhere constructive?
Hopefully. It definitely pushes the conversation towards better safeguards. Things like exploring biometric voting more widely, using AI for verifying documents, maybe even blockchain for secure voter rolls.
Are those things actually happening?
There have been pilots, yes. Telangana, for instance, has experimented with some of these technologies. And on the ground, border security is being beefed up with drones, AI cameras, plus government programs like the Vibrant Villages initiative aimed at developing border areas.
So efforts are being made to plug the gaps. What happens now to the individuals involved, like the women in Bhagalpur and Muhammad Aslam?
The investigation continues. Their names are being struck off the voter rolls, and their Indian documents will be canceled. Legal action under the Foreigners Act of 1946 is a real possibility.
Which mandates registration for long stays.
Right, for stays over 180 days.
Yeah.
And ultimately, deportation could be on the cards.
And the SRR process itself, the big voter list revision.
That's moving towards its final stages. The deadline for filing claims and objections for people who think they were wrongly excluded was set to end around September 1st, 2025.
And the final cleaned up list.
Scheduled for publication by September 30th. Interestingly, reports mention over 165,000 claims have already been filed by people wanting to get back on the list.
Which shows people are paying attention, engaging with the process.
It does. And the ECI continues to promise that every genuine case will be reviewed and no eligible voter will ultimately be disenfranchised.
So this deep dive into Bihar's voter rolls, it really shows how democracy isn't static, is it? It's a complex machine needing constant vigilance, constant adaptation.
Absolutely. A few names, seemingly out of place, can unravel this huge story about identity, about borders, about the nuts and bolts of running elections for nearly a billion voters.
It's a powerful reminder that democracy's story is always being written, always taking unexpected turns.
It really is. And, as we think about how resilient India's democracy has been since 1950, weathering so many storms, this kind of incident forces a tough question, doesn't it?
Which is?
In our world, which feels more connected, more borderless in some ways,
Yeah.
how do you strike that balance? The need for secure borders for electoral integrity versus the complex, messy human realities of migration, family, community life that often cross those lines.
That's the fundamental tension. There are no easy answers. And maybe the final thought for you listening, what role do we all play in maintaining that vigilance, in ensuring the integrity of our own democratic family album wherever we are?